Don't be crying to me. Red, blue, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. You're the one who didn't bring enough gummy bears for everyone. Therefore, you're the one who has to eat them all. Yes, hello, everyone. It's me, your Grandpoop. Yes, welcome to Journal number 9. You may notice some differences in our set today. Some changes in scenery. That's because Grandpa's gone underground, off the grid, so to speak. I've gone. In my investigations, I have uncovered a plot, a technological hooey that's coming for us all. You see, in my investigations, Grandpa saw some things he wasn't supposed to see, learned some things he wasn't supposed to learn. And now the hammer of the establishment is coming down hard on Grandpa. But to understand what Grandpa has learned, first we have to understand this. At precisely 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Halloween night, Doc was dressed as the very hungry caterpillar, out trick-or-treating alone as he does every year, knocking on the doors of the Bensons, an elderly couple down the street with whom Doc was familiar. He was unexpectedly met with an open door. He called out to the occupants but heard no answer. Worried, he rushed inside to find blood and viscera spread about the home. He followed a trail down the hall and heard a familiar tone of voice coming from the bedroom. As he burst into the room, he found none other than Old Man Bungalow, standing over several frozen chickens, dripping in blood, while the Bensons sat in the corner watching calmly. Doc screamed, "What the fuck is going on here?" To which Grandpa replied, "These Lucky Charms don't glitter like the pond, but the jazz is sweet and the food is hot like dust turned to mud in your mouth." Confused, Doc closed his eyes to think, then shouted, "What?" But Grandpa was gone. And so I begin to pull the thread and unravel the mystery. You see, to understand what you need to understand, first you have to understand Doc. Or you see, in my investigations, Grandpa has uncovered a dark and terrible secret about everybody's friend. D.O.C. Doc did it. Yes, Grandpa's sorry to say that I have irrefutable proof that Doc is an AI man. And to understand that, first we have to understand technology. It all began back in 1969 in Crestview, Florida, when a man named Terry was born. You see, Terry was born to terrible parents, horrible people who beat him and threw things at him and dropped him out a window one time. They were real bad people. But the beatings could never curb Jeremy's curiosity. You see, Donald had a dream to create a web that would span the world wide. That's right, baby, I'm talking about the fucking internet. What I'm saying here is John invented the internet. Despite the beatings, he excelled in school. He graduated with early honors and moved on to higher things after he became independent from his parents. And by the 1990s, he had succeeded in creating the internet. And that brings us to today. I'm sure we're all familiar with AI. AI stands for Artificial Intelligence. And our first point of evidence is James Clerk McSteller. Yes, James the funny man. Many a time have there been accusations of James being artificial, but not intelligent. And you see, intelligence, the cogitation of larger things, the ability to see the world around you and pick it apart, put it back together, and dig it, groove it, vibe it, baby. Something James never had until recently. Where do you think he got all those zingers and haikus about bags of dicks? He got them from the intelligence added to his artificial self, therefore making him AI. But who in the community could be so devious as to create something so horrible as an intelligent James? You see, the computer. What is a computer? What is a CPU? It's the brain of the computer. It makes the things do the things. And why does it do the things? How does it do the things? Well, I'll tell you how. Fucking magic! They took the rocks, they flattened them out, they filled them with lightning and made them think. And that brings us to our first piece of evidence. Exhibit A.
So yeah, I just kind of use the AI to make all of my songs, write all of my lyrics, you know. Hey, is that thing recording?
Damning indeed. To go further, to understand, first you have to understand this. You see, babies don't have souls. When man is born, it is an empty husk acting upon instinct. But as they grow, as they develop, the creativity stirs, the cogitation begins to flow, and the complexity grows more complex. Like a radio antenna, our brains then absorb the cosmic consciousness, the universal thought process that webs through the fabric of everything. Fuck gravity, I'm all about that brain, baby. Grandpa loves liverwurst spread. And that brings us to Exhibit B.
Isn't it weird that pickle rhymes with pumpernickel? And how I use AI to write everything that I do creatively?
How could he ever come back from that? But wait, there's a twist. You see, in 1985, a man named Robert went to the fair, and in that moment, he decided that he was gonna make a computer. And through time, Jeffrey gathered the parts he needed, built his machine, his artificial intelligence, and it grew, and it learned. And what it learned was to kill. Striking down its creator, it fled the fair. It needed a disguise. And so, it became a shapeshifter, taking the form of everyone and anything it could to hide amongst the human. Until one day, it came across none other than who we know as Duck. It saw his talent, his raw potential, and it became envious, jealous. It needed to be Duck. And so was born a horrible conglomeration of evil and musical talent. Which brings us to Exhibit C.
Scusi, sir.
What?
Are you Doc?
No, I'm not. I'm his evil twin, Dick.
And there you have it. Doc was never using AI. It was his evil twin brother, Dick. But what happened to Dick, you might ask? Well, in my investigations, I have uncovered the truth. Old Man Bungalow entered the Benson's house with a bag full of frozen chickens and bottles of ketchup. And with him, tied up in the corner, was none other than Dick. After explaining to the Bensons his plan, they joined him in this ritual, placed Dick upon the bed, surrounded by the chickens, and so began the ritual to send Dick back to the pits of hell where his artificial intelligence belongs. And so it was that he was sent back to hell, right as Doc walked in the room and fucking missed the whole thing and misunderstood everything. That brings us to our murder mystery. If Doc didn't do it, then who did? Well, I'm gonna tell you who. None other than Doc Griffin. Join me next time to find out why Doc Griffin murdered Grandpa. I'm not just making these things up.